Crawford County officials meet to clear up some confusion over COVID-19 vaccine distribution. A Joplin woman lost her husband to COVID-19, and now she shares her story in hopes of preventing further deaths.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
100 coronavirus vaccines in southeast Kansas are sitting as the state works to redistribute them. This is KOAM News at 6. Last week, the Crawford County Health Department received Moderna coronavirus vaccines. Many of them are supposed to be going to other area health departments in the region, but they're still currently sitting. KOAM's Zach Dodge has why.
You might remember last week when we told you that the Crawford County Health Department received 200 doses of Moderna vaccine.
It's exciting. It's a great Christmas present.
That's what Health Department Director Janice Godeke said last Wednesday during an interview about it. Since then, we've learned the department actually received 300 doses, but not all of them will stay there.
Initially, we received 300 doses, so we have 50 going to each of the Cherokee, Labatt, and Montgomery counties. So that leaves us now with 150 doses.
Godeke says that the state named Crawford County Health Department a distribution hub, explaining they will get the vaccines first, then send them to the other departments in the area. Montgomery counties have been sent, but Cherokee and Labatt's are still sitting in Pittsburgh.
You know, with the government, there's always a little red tape and a little paperwork, so we're completing the paperwork on that, and as soon as they get the paperwork completed, we will be distributing those vaccines to them.
But Cherokee County Sheriff David Groves, who also serves as the county PIO, explains the vaccines should have come directly to them.
It was never intended to go from Topeka or wherever it came from, KDHE, to Crawford County. It was always meant to go from Topeka to Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas. That didn't happen, obviously.
He explains the original plan was for Cherokee County's allocation to go to CHC SEK in Baxter Springs, since they're already signed up as a vaccine provider. So we reached out to KDHE for clarification on the plan. They say they're working with local partners for redistribution, but won't go into specifics regarding sites or the situation. For now, both Crawford and Cherokee County are doing what they can to get vaccines where they need to go.
Community Health is was the designated receiver of that vaccine. It will get to them. In the meantime, they have vaccine on hand, and so this does not provide allow for a gap in services to those who need it.
In Crawford and Cherokee counties, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The Labatt County Health Department director says they have submitted paperwork to KDHE. Now they're waiting to hear back. As we keep you updated on what's happening in our area with the pandemic, we also want to give voice to those who've lost loved ones to the virus. Joplin resident Mary Jo Martin recently lost her husband Doug to COVID. He was 57 years old. They both had pre-existing conditions that made them more vulnerable to contracting the virus. However, she says they were doing everything they could for the past 9 months to not get it. But when her husband's cancer returned this year, she believes he contracted the virus through his multiple chemotherapy visits. She contracted the virus as well, but survived. She says she's worried that many people are not taking the pandemic seriously and is urging others to take precautions so they don't lose a loved one like she did.
It's been hard, and I want to make sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else. Him being hospitalized for the COVID was the worst thing in my life because he needed me and I couldn't be there with him. I don't want other people to have to go through that.
Doug Martin died on December 10th. The Newton County, Missouri Health Department is reporting the death of a 20-year-old woman who had COVID-19. Her death and the death of an 80-year-old man brings the county's total to 66. The Joplin Health Department is reporting its 90th death. They say that patient was an 85-year-old man. And the Neosho County Health Department in Kansas is reporting another COVID-19 death. This latest death brings that county's total to 12. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says she plans to get a COVID-19 vaccine tomorrow as part of a larger program to give shots to selected Kansas officials so that state government can continue to operate during the pandemic. The governor confirmed her plan as nursing home workers and residents begin receiving vaccinations. The state's vaccine distribution plan calls for providing shots first to frontline healthcare workers, nursing home workers, and nursing home residents. But the governor said last week that Kansas also was looking at giving shots to people in state agencies, the legislature, and the state court system. Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Dow. Well, kind of a weird day for us today. We started the day with a little bit of rain, snow, sleet mix in our northern counties. Everybody else had rain. Temperatures then warmed into the 50s, and then we've been pretty dry throughout the afternoon, but now we have showers which are starting to develop. But you can see the band of rain out to our west along the I-35 corridor. That's our next little batch that is going to roll in later on tonight, especially after midnight, but increasing over the next few hours. Could even see some moderate rain after midnight, so watch the rain really get going. Temperatures dropping back through the 40s. We'll be in the upper 30s by morning. You start to see a little bit of pink starting to pop up, and then blue. So we could even mix with or switch over to a little bit of snow tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. Another system on New Year's Eve. A lot to talk about here in just a bit.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. A Noel mosque badly damaged by fire is getting some help from neighbors. The Islamic Society of Joplin is raising funds on Facebook to help the mosque rebuild. The fundraiser's goal is $100,000. The Noel Mosque and African grocery store were badly damaged by a fire yesterday morning. Investigators do not believe the fire is suspicious. The Fort Scott City Commission today voted to accept a quit-claim deed for the Union Lofts development project. A quit-claim deed is a legal instrument that allows a person or entity, in this case the city of Fort Scott, to release a title. This means the city has released the deed to Flint Hills Holdings and now is not responsible for any liabilities or money owed on the property.
A warranty deed would be coming at a later date once the property is been improved. It's a parking lot, and right now they're using that for not only construction of the building but some utility work that's taken place.
The Union Lofts project will convert the old Union Block building into low-income apartments. It's official for a number of newly and re-elected Jasper County officials. Some officials were sworn in today at the courthouse. Among them, Sheriff Randy Kaiser. This isn't the first go-around for the sheriff. In fact, it's his third time. He says he has a secret that helps him maintain his position. That's having an understanding of the responsibility that comes with the job.
Like I said, it's good that the citizens of Jasper County are endorsing me as their sheriff, and I know that instills a lot of responsibility on me, and I'm happy to serve in that position.
Commissioner Tom Flanagan, Treasurer Denise Rohr, Public Administrator Angie Kazvecchia, and the Coroner Rob Chappell were all sworn in today. Fuel prices in Missouri are at their highest price in months, but Joplin drivers are still paying the least at the pump. The average price for a gallon jumped to $1.95 statewide. That's the highest price since March. Joplin drivers can expect to pay $1.88 per gallon. That's the lowest price in the state. Still ahead, how retailers prepare for an influx in unwanted Christmas gifts. And what happens to those Christmas trees that you recycle? Well, in Kansas City, they become Christmas treats.
On today.
Now that Christmas is well behind us, for most people it's time to clean up, which means that those among us who decorate with live trees need to find somewhere to dispose of them. In Kansas City, you can turn those old Christmas trees into Christmas treats for some very hungry goats.
They're a pack of piranhas. They'll take off anything that's a bit softer. They might continue to gnaw on it a bit just for fun. My name is Margaret Chamas. I'm the owner of Storm Dancer Farm and Goats on the Go, KCMO. The goats are really only here during the winter. This is their off season. Most of the farm work and most of the income is from taking groups of goats out to clear brush, clear weeds on private and public properties. Oh boy, everybody. Growing up, we had dairy goats, and we would take our Christmas tree at the end of the season and give it to the goats. When we started having more goats, we started collecting from friends and locals. KCTV5 came out last year and ran a little story, and then I was swamped.
That means everybody.
We love having people out to the farm. One of my big things is trying to get education and people and the community involved in the farm as much as I can. They're inquisitive, and they know very well that people usually means food or something good. So they'll come up and say hi and check out and see what's up.
You've never eaten a Christmas tree?
Is when it looks like it will be.
You eat Christmas trees?
Looks delicious. If you plan on returning a gift this holiday season, businesses are prepared. This morning on the KOAM Morning News, Jesse Irwin spoke with Academy Sports to find out how. While big box stores across the country see larger sales numbers than any other time of year during the holidays, they also recognize that those numbers are not final. Businesses have adjusted their return policies, something they typically do during the holiday season. However, chains like Academy Sports say the expectation for returns isn't necessarily bad for business.
As far as business, what it does for us is obviously a lot, the more foot traffic we have, typically the more we sell. So after that holiday period, you've got people coming in to return things or exchange things, and while they're on the sales floor, they may find something they would like.
Consulting firm CBRE anticipates holiday goods worth as much as $70.5 billion could be returned in the U.S. this year, almost 1/3 of the projected total holiday sales. We have the return policies for a handful of corporate chains on our morning show page at KOAMnewsnow.com, along with some tips for making sure you don't run into any problems when you make your holiday returns. Doug Hetty is up next with his complete forecast. And a little bit later, a Kansas City area man becomes the oldest person in the country to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
Shop huge sales.
Well, kind of a crazy day for us today. We started out cold, had a little rain snow mix in our northern counties, and then everybody else just rained. But once it pushed through with a warm front, then we started to warm up as most of us went into the 50s for highs. We're still sitting near 50 across the region for us now. And we're really going to hold near 50 for about the next 6 hours, and then we'll start to drop off just a bit. Outside, 51. South winds at about 10. Of course, humidity is high. Through the evening hours, temperatures hold steady, but by morning, we'll drop back into the upper 30s for overnight lows. Look at the rain, sleet, northern counties earlier today, and then just kind of light showers, but rain picking back up, especially in our western counties, right along the I-35 corridor, Kansas City to Wichita. You can see that band of rain. That's where the cold front that is going to slide in later on tonight, and it's going to give us a light to moderate, very persistent rain, especially after midnight for us tonight. Not a lot going on out there now. A little bit of drizzle around the metro, but all the heavier rain is in our western counties as this storm system rolls through. In fact, we have two systems that will affect us this week. This is system number one. System number two sitting out across parts of Arizona, and that's going to rotate through by the time we head into New Year's Eve. So this system pushes out late tomorrow, and then we're going to watch system two and see exactly where it goes. You can see it down across parts of Texas on New Year's Eve at 4 p.m. Then it takes a turn north. If it tracks over us, which it looks most likely, we'll get rain over to a little bit of snow. If it tracks a little farther east, we could have a pretty decent winter storm. So something we want to watch at least over the next couple days. Let's go through tonight. Showers increasing, rain increasing, especially after midnight. Could have some moderate rain. Watch how the temperatures start to drop through the 40s. Here's 3 a.m. Let's go to 6 a.m. You start to see a little pink mixing in. This is the colder air overtaking the warmer air, and a little rain snow mix, maybe even going over to a little bit of snow as we go through the morning hours. Now, if we had any accumulations, which I really don't expect, just because we're going to be sitting above freezing, and it would really have to come down at a pretty good clip. So let's go minor accumulations, really a dusting, maybe a half an inch. So on the backside, we get this little band of snow. As we go into the afternoon, most of this starts to taper off. It's going to be out of here by 3, 4 o'clock, but our temperatures really aren't going to go anywhere. We're actually going to drop through the day. By evening, we'll be down near freezing. Tomorrow night, we'll clear out a little bit. So as we start Thursday, it will be cold. And then as we go through the day Thursday, look at the rain increasing again, especially in our southern counties by evening. So rain with this first system, I think a lot of people are going to pick up a ½ an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Then we go into the second system. So this starts on New Year's Eve in the evening. I think it will be sleet and freezing rain mixed with rain as it lifts toward the north as we head into Thursday night. I think our southern counties mainly rain, our northern counties mainly freezing rain or sleet, and we'll have to watch the track of that system to see exactly what it wants to do for us on New Year's Day. So a lot of action all week long. 38 tomorrow, 37 on Thursday, only 36 on Friday, and then cold but drying out for the weekend.
Cold and wet end of one year and beginning of the next, it appears.
You got it.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead.
The good Lord protected me all through the service, and I always honored him and praised him for that.
A Kansas City area World War II veteran becomes the oldest person in the country to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. A Kansas City area World War II veteran becomes the oldest person in the country to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Amy Anderson has his story.
Here we go. Melvin Rakop is a fighter. At 102 years old, the Army combat veteran served in World War II in Iceland, France, and Germany, including the Battle of the Bulge.
I'm just thankful that I made it all through the war and had a normal life.
The one thing he never had to battle was COVID-19, and thanks to this vaccine, he likely never will.
You're all done, my friend. Thank you for your service.
For the staff here at the VA, this day was a long time coming.
It's amazing, to say the least. This is something we've been working on for months through caring for patients, and then as well as just the preparation for vaccine. It's been something that VA has been working on nationwide. So really for all of this to come together for this veteran today to really kick this off is just it's amazing, to say the least.
Rakop says he was surprised he was chosen to get the vaccine so early, but he is grateful.
The good Lord protected me all through the service, and I always honored him and praised him for that.
And he says he'll give thanks for this as well.
Again, that was Amy Anderson reporting. A final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a veteran from Shell City, Missouri. Private Harvey Prow served in the U.S. Army during World War I. He fought with the 3rd Machine Gun Battalion because his time on the farm taught him to handle the mules that were used to move the guns. And we are proud to salute Private Harvey Prow. He's tonight's 4th state hero. Checking back in with Doug Heddy now for a final look at the weather. Doug.
All right, Dow, it looks like we're going to have rain increasing through the overnight hours tonight, especially after midnight. Temperatures cooling through the 40s. Will be in the upper 30s by morning. That's when we're going to get a rain-snow mix and maybe even briefly over to snow where we could get some minor accumulations. Then our next storm system rolls in late Thursday into Friday.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.